Hi, in this video I'm going to share with you a webinar that I did where I shared 7 lead generation strategies that can help your business. Take a look.
Every single day I'm gonna make something great.
Alright, so I'm going to start with 7 lead generation strategies for your business. Now before I get into the strategies, I want to go over a couple of terms that it's important to know when we're talking about lead generation. Now the first one, no particular order, but the first one I have here is target market. You want to be able to break down your market into something specific. It's not okay, well, you can do it, but it's not as efficient if you start marketing to the general population without really specifying who exactly is it that your intended target is. So, for example, it's not enough to say I want to target all small businesses, or that's not enough. I mean, what does small business mean? You have to break down that criteria into something more specific. It could be a vertical, it could be a specific industry, or it could be by demographic, by psychographic. But what's important is that you narrow down who you're going to target for your business. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to turn away other people from different markets, but what it means is that you're going to focus your resources, your time, your money on marketing to a specific target market. And that's what target market is when I'm talking about it. The next one is the messaging. Once you generate leads, you want to be able to have the right message. First of all, you need the right message to capture the leads. But once you actually have somebody's attention and that lead is actually thinking about you or looking at your material, you have to have the right message to communicate to that lead. And this is why it's important to have a specific target market, because once you have a specific target market, you're able to craft your message to be relevant to that specific lead that you're capturing. So your messaging is very important for your lead conversion. And I'm going to get into the conversion later. Farm is just another term, another word that you hear, and it has to do with your area of what you're covering, in terms of your market, a farm market, or your farm list, or your farm area. And so that's just what that is. And then you're going to hear the terms leads, prospects, suspects, opportunities. These are all sales terms that you need to be aware, because the people that you are targeting as prospects or for potential customers, they all fall into different categories or into different buckets at a particular time in the sales cycle. First, you got the leads or the suspects, the leads. These are all terms. I'm not going to get into these in details, but it's important for you to research these terms and learn more about them if you're not aware of them. So there are different stages in the sales cycle, and one person can fall into all of these stages at different points in time. So this is something that's important for you to understand. And conversion is when one person goes from one bucket to another bucket, they basically convert. Or when you have a lead, when that lead converts into a contact or into a client. So when we're talking about conversion, that's what we're talking about there. The call to action is another term that's important to understand. Is any marketing material that you have should have a call to action. And when I say marketing material, it could be as simple as your website, an email, a sales flyer, or a literature. Everything that you do, you have to be able to tell the person who is the intended audience, what do you want them to do? What is it specifically that you want them to do? It's not enough to just have an informational brochure and then at the end of the person reading it, they really don't know what to do. Yes, there's a phone number, there's a description of your company, there's website, there's a whole bunch of things. You want to be able to have a specific call to action for your marketing piece. And it could be you want them to sign up for a free for something, for a free offer. You want them to call something. So the call to action is that something, and it could be different for different campaigns. Cost per lead. It's important for you to understand how much does it cost you for each lead that you receive. And that number is important later on because it'll allow you to budget your marketing campaigns and estimate how much money you can spend for the number of leads that you expect to get. And so it's also important to understand that it costs money to get a lead. You might not realize that, but it does. It costs you money. Now, it's important for you to understand how much is it costing you, okay? Again, I'm not getting into it too deep, but these are terms that you want to learn. Lifetime cost per client, another important metric, is you want to understand how much does a client cost? How much revenue will you generate from a client? What's the time span? What's the average lifespan of a client? How long is a client remains a client? 5 years, 2 years, 10 years? And in that amount of time, how much money do you expect to get from that customer? So that's the lifetime cost of a client. So knowing that number is important as well, because if you know how much your client is worth for you, you can more or less budget in how much money you can spend to acquire a client. It's more expensive to get a new client than it is to keep a client. So when you know and understand the lifetime cost of a client, you can play around with your numbers and make a more intelligent decision in terms of how much money you can spend for different campaigns or for retaining clients. So those are just general terms. I just wanted to just bring it out there, make sure you get to know them. So let's get into the strategies. The first one that I want to talk about is Facebook ads. Facebook has an advertising platform that is very, very simple to use, and you can use it to highly target your market. And of course, if they utilize Facebook. So I'm going to give you an example I'm going to show you a website that I manage, a Bergen Networking Group. And for example, there's a couple of ways to advertise and use Facebook ads. One of them is boosting your ads. So for example, if you have a posting, if you post a comment or some status update, that status update, you can make it appear on other people's news feeds by paying a fee, and that's what's called a boost. And you've probably seen that in your news feed, and they come up as sponsored ads. So let me show you an example. Like for example, if this ad that I have here, as an administrator, I see this button here that says boost post. So if I wanted to boost and use a Facebook ad for this post, I will click on boost, and then I get these options here. And basically, I'm going to walk through a couple of things here. The audience. This is the key thing, a very cool thing about Facebook ads, that you can narrow who you want to advertise, who you want to boost this post to. And if I go ahead and click on the audience here, or edit audience, it defaults to something here. It defaulted to location, interest, and age. But I'm going to go ahead and click on audience. And here you got, here's where you specify who I want to reach with that ad or with that boosted post. And as you can see, you can name your audience, because if you can reuse the audience in other posts. And here's the interesting part. You can specify the location. So for example, the options here is cities, countries, or states. So for example, I can target a post to target specific people in different cities. So let's say you have a number of cities in your farm, and you want to say, I want to target people in my hometown, or in the towns within a couple of miles radius. So this is where you do it. You click on cities here, you select cities, and then you just type. You start typing here your city. Okay, it could be, you just type the cities pop up. You can put a number of cities here, and then over here there's a drop down where you can specify the radius. So within 10 miles, 25 miles, 50 miles. So if I specify 10 miles, within 10 miles of these cities is my target audience. So again, people who are using Facebook and are within that radius will get my post. More narrowed down, you can narrow it by age. So let's say, for example, I say somebody from 27, 30. I can specify an age range. So that's very important. If you know your target market and you can narrow it down by age group, this is one way to do it right here. Men, women, all. Interest, this is another key thing, by interest. So for example, if you're posting or promoting or trying to promote a seminar or a webinar or some other networking event, you could pick interests that are relevant to your post. So for example, this is a post for a networking group, and I can select people who are interested in small business networking, small business owners. If I have an event that is about targeting medical practice, I can put medical, so that's a different ways to target your post. Very, very interesting, because you can narrow down your post for your specific interests here. And that goes on and on. And then you click on save, and then it walks you through that's just for setting up the audience. And then over here, it shows you the budgeting. So you can specify how much money you want to spend. So any amount of money you have here, you can budget. It estimates the number of people that you're going to reach. The duration, you can go up to 7 days, and that's pretty much it. You can conversion pixel. This is for conversion tracking, and then you have your credit card on file. You click on, and here you can preview how it looks on the desktop, how it looks on the mobile. So it's pretty neat here. And then you click on OK, and that's pretty much it. So that's how you boost the post. There's other ways of creating ads, which is a little bit more complicated than that, but I'm not going to get into that. But I just wanted to mention this to you because it's very easy for you to create these advertisements. And Facebook is very important. Let me show you, for example, something that I wanted to show you. Give me 1 second. On the insights, Facebook will allow you. Let me show you one post that I wanted to show you. For example, this post here. Some statistics that you can, the same one that I was looking at, some statistics that it's available on the posting is, it tells you how many people have reached the post, how many people liked, comments, etc. So this is very interesting for you to keep track of. Once I see posts that are reaching a lot more people than usual, you can tell that that's a good post. And people are commenting and sharing. So it's important for you to stay, I guess, that's the whole point of social media and the post is to be relevant, is to share, like, and anytime you're participating in one of these posts that are actively being seen by others, then that's how you get the exposure, and that's one way to generate leads, potential leads, when you're exposed to other people through other people's networks and other people's posts. So it's important to stay up to date with the posts and follow people. If you have a page, or if you're following somebody and they're post a comment, go ahead and like, comment, and that's how you have your presence in front of other people. Okay, so let me jump over to the next strategy, and that would be LinkedIn Pulse. LinkedIn recently allowed everybody to be able to basically blog on LinkedIn. It's not only just put short status updates or posts, but it's long form posts. It's more like a blogging platform. And this is called LinkedIn Pulse. This was available just to specific people in LinkedIn, either that have a specific type of accounts, but now it's open to everybody. So now, if you wanted to start blogging, you can do that on LinkedIn. And it's very good to do that in LinkedIn now, because whatever you post as a blog post in LinkedIn, it gets indexed by the search engines. So that's another way to generate leads, is with search engine optimization. The search engines index your blog, and those are the kinds of things that based on the keywords that you put on the blogs, your article becomes potentially visible by potential leads, and it appears on your LinkedIn connections. Get notified when you put a post, and so it's another lead generation strategy that is something that you should be using. And I'm going to jump over here on the LinkedIn. This is LinkedIn. So now, if you haven't noticed, when you're sharing an update, when you're posting something, now you have this option over here which says publish a post. That is where you would basically publish a blog post. So I click on publish a post, and then you're going to see a couple of options here. You're going to see here you can click and you can add an image to your post. This picks it up from your profile, and then over here you click over here, and this is where your headline goes. Okay, and then down here, this is where your article goes. So you can type as long as you want. You can format the text, insert links, pictures, videos, embed, and basically that becomes a blog post. So you can create and you can post this on an ongoing basis, weekly, daily, monthly. It's up to you. Now the key thing is that you want to be consistent on whatever strategy you choose, and overall over time you'll see the results. Basically, if you start posting on LinkedIn here, eventually you'll see that it will come up on search engines if you put good keywords there, city, location, industry, that sort of thing, and very specific keywords. You're likely to come up on search results, and that's one way to generate leads. The other one I wanted to go over is compiled lists. How you can generate leads by simply buying lists. You can get the services of a list broker, and basically you give them the criteria of what is it that you're looking for, what's your target market, and the more specific you are, the more quality the list is. And there's list services, websites that you can buy lists. And one key thing about compile lists is that you need to be able to qualify the list. Don't just take a list for granted, just take the list and start mailing to them. You want to be able to qualify the list and make sure that the people on the list actually meet your criteria and are qualified leads. Okay, and especially if you're going to do direct mail, which is more expensive. If you're going to do direct mail, you definitely want to make sure that you make phone calls, you either by telemarketing or some other way to make sure that the people on the list are actually in business, they haven't moved, they actually meet the criteria for your business, etc. So compile lists, there's different websites that are available for lists, mailing lists. There's also email lists that you can buy. Don't recommend that because that just leads to a lot of spam. A lot of the lists with that email addresses, they bounce back. The quality of the list of emails, I don't recommend them as much as direct mail, even though direct mail and phone calls, etc. Those are higher quality lists. So you can also go to your local library. The library usually has subscriptions to these services. So you can go to the local library and search for and go to the computers that have these lists available, list service available, and enter your criteria and download a certain number of leads from the library itself. So that's a free resources that's available out there. You can try that. Okay, so the next one is email signature. This strategy is very simple, doesn't cost you anything, but the email signature is a part of your email where you can put the same information over and over. Your email clients, Outlook, etc., they have a portion, an area where you can save the email signature, right? It can either be your name, email, contact information, etc. Now, it's important to have a good email signature, and the email signature should have at least your contact information, right? At least your name, your email, phone number. How can the person get back to you, right? And also keep in mind that email that you send out could be forwarded, could be sent to people that you may not know. So the email could go to somebody that somebody might have forwarded your email. Or just the person might be a cold lead, and you might have sent them an email in your prospecting, and they might have your email saved in the inbox, but they can pick up some more information in the signature. In the signature, you can have anything you want, really. You can put some information about a special that you have for the month, for the quarter, or a special event. So it's a way to not just end an email with your name, but it's a place where you can put more information about your company or your referral program, etc. Now, it's important that you don't have your email signature as one big image. I've seen a couple of emails out there that the signature the whole signature is one image, and the image has the name, email address, and it looks very pretty, but it's an image. The problem with that is that when people open the email on their desktops, not all computers or not all programs have the settings to display images by default. So some people might open the emails and they might not see the images by default. They have to click on download images. And on the worst case scenario is that if they look at the emails on their phones, that's more likely that they're not going to see the images. And also, when they're looking at the phone, if they have an image, they can't really click on the phone number. They can't click on the email on the website. If you enter the signature as a text and you're viewing the signature on your phone, every phone by default, if you click on the phone number, it's going to pop up the dialer. And if you click on the link of the email address, it's going to try to open up your email program. And that happens even with the desktops when you click on the email link. So this is an example why you don't want your email signature to be a complete image. You can include an image as like a logo or a picture or something, but don't have the whole image, don't have the whole email signature as one single image. Okay, the next strategy is public speaking, or speaking engagements. This is a very very convenient and easy way to get leads, because you are basically talking to ideally your target audience, and you're speaking. You're a subject matter expert, and you're speaking about something of interest to everybody. And it's a great opportunity to be in front of people. So speaking engagements is something that you can do over and over. And many groups, many networking groups, many organizations are looking for speakers all the time. We have a networking group I belong to, and we're looking for speakers all the time. And that's an excellent opportunity to be in front of people and generate leads that way. Of course, you have to be smart about what you do once you're doing the speaking engagements. There are certain criteria that different groups have when they have a speaker, but you want to be able to have some type of call to action, right, in your speaking engagement, either at the end, at the beginning, somewhere in between, or even afterwards. You are going to be able to hand out your business cards and maybe talk to the people in the audience, but you want to be able to generate leads. That's why you're there, right? So speaking engagements is another strategy that you can use. Now the landing pages is another strategy that's very important for you to learn about. And anytime you have an offer, either a sales offer or some event happening, and you want to advertise it, you want to promote it, landing pages are basically web pages that are specifically created for a specific purpose, for one specific purpose. So, for example, if you have a website and you create a landing page, the landing page should not have any navigations to other pages on your website. It shouldn't have anything that distracts the audience away from your main purpose of your landing page. So, for example, if you have I'm going to show you an example of a landing page here. For example, if I have a landing page here, this is an example of a landing page. It's a web page, right? It's not a web page within my website. You cannot see anything. You cannot link to anywhere on my website here. It's just the sole purpose of this page is for somebody to click to enter the information on this form and get a free ebook. So the typical components of a landing page is you got the title, you got maybe some image, you got a subtitle, a description about whatever it is that you want to promote, and a capture form where this is where you're gonna capture your leads. Basically, they fill out the information, they click on a button, and then you capture that information, and there's a lead right there. So that's how you generate leads with the landing page. Now, it's also important to have a URL or an address that's short enough and not necessarily easy to remember, but it is good if you have something that's easy to remember. In this case, this one is a longer one, but I'm using it just as an example. So you want to have so when you're advertising your offer, for example, in this case, I'm advertising a free ebook. I'm going to provide this email address, this website address, or this page, this URL. I'm not going to advertise my homepage, my website. I'm going to advertise this email, this URL. So I want people to go just directly to this page, and I'm going to capture their information here. Okay, so that's an example of a landing page, and you probably have seen millions or tons of landing pages on the internet, because this is a common lead generation strategy. Okay, so the last one I want to mention is referral. Referral programs are very, very important to have. Referral, word of mouth referral is very good when you have informal referrals coming in, but it's also important that you have some kind of a system in place for generating referrals and capturing referrals and following up with referrals. All of that, you want to be able to have a system. That's the key thing. You want to have a program or a system in place for referrals. Now, one way that you can do that is with the website to capture the referrals, but then on your back end, you have to have some type of relationship management, a CRM system where you log the referrals coming in, you follow up with email, you have a drip campaign with the referrals, etc. You make phone calls. So you want to be able to have something in place where it's even if it's even as automatic as you can, where a lead comes in and it follows a process. And also it's important to understand that you might want to have some type of referral system or incentive for your referrals, because remember what I said at the beginning, it costs money to generate a lead, and the clients generate revenue, and the lifetime cost of a client is important for you to understand. So if you get a referral and that referral converts into a client, that generates money over the period of time. So wouldn't it be fair, or wouldn't it be wise for you to pay somebody if they give you a good referral that becomes a client that generates all the income that one client generates for you? So why not have a system in place to have incentives paid to people who give you referrals? It's a great motivation for people to just not informally give you a referral, but actually look for referrals for you, because that could be a source of income if it's something that they do on a regular basis. Why not? If they already have contact with people that are your target audience, why not them referring to you on a regular basis and you're paying them on a regular basis? So that's commonly done, and it's something that you should implement on your business, having a referral program. I'm going to show you, there's different ways of doing that. I'm going to show you one referral program that I have on my website here, and it's basically a referral program where I offer cash for referrals that convert into a client, capturing their information, the referral information. When they send the referral, an automatic email goes out to the person as a thank you. It goes into my system in the back end, and then I follow up in my sales cycle in terms of making phone calls, following up, et cetera, et cetera. So if they do end up being a client, then this person who gets who referred it to me gets some incentive. Okay, so those are the 7 strategies that I wanted to go over with you, and basically just lead generation strategies. If you pick one, that will be good to start. If you have one and you haven't tried the other one, try a new one. So thank you very much.